peoples of this country, hindi makikita yung pinanggalingan natin.
Basta ito, susundukan mo. Doktor, abuling ka ng aso. Lahat ng intendinanos.
Hindi nire-release naman ng pork barrel kasi useless naman.
Yung patay, papabigyan ko ng 5,000 from my... So,
Marami na nagsasabi na
Hindi. Dahil baka kunyari, lahat ng madi-dismiss, mang-hostage na lang para ma-reinstate.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. Welcome to our show, Heartbeat Live. I'm your host, Ray Orosa. Magkakapiling po tayo dito sa susunod na isang oras halos. At mapapag-usapan natin po maraming bagay na mahalaga para sa ating bansa. Sa gabi pong ito, ay bago natin pakilala ang aming panauhin sa inyo, I just want to tell you, you can text us, nakikita nyo yung numero namin, and you can watch us on YouTube. Ang ating mga text promo winner ngayon, may babasahin natin. Ito ay mula kay Bobot Tigas o 0927-637-3649. Totoo ba ang sinasabi ni President Noy na gumaganda ang ating ekonomiya? Kasi ang World Economic Report ay 30-month low inflation ng Pilipinas at nagbenta raw ng bilyon-bilyon dollar sa halaga ng bonds. Well, I don't think those are the reasons kung bakit medyo hihina ang ating bansa because some of our economic fundamentals are fine. But the trouble is, I don't think President Noynoy can claim credit for all of that because by the time maging presidente siya, ay maganda ang takbo ng ekonomiya. As a matter of fact, kung titignan mo ang record, my goodness, the growth of our GNP in 2010 before he became president, alam nyo, was about 8%. Sa unang taon niya, ang growth natin ng GNP naging 4%. The biggest problem, of course, he faces is how to deal with poverty. Will the CCT or yung cash transfer program niya, yung pantawid na inumpisahan din naman ni Gloria Arroyo, dating Pangulo, will it be sufficient to lift us up? Well, to the extent that it does not teach people how to earn money and simply to allow their kids to go to school para makatanggap sila ng kaunting pondo, ay matagal po bago yan ay mabiyayaan ang bansa. But we at the same time we say an investment in people who will be properly educated is one way out of poverty. So to the extent na hindi tayo magkakaroon ng gaano kadaming drop out sa mga eskwelahan dahil sa kahirapan at itong paraan at programang ito ay makakatiyak na at least makatapos ng high school ang mga tao at pagkatapos doon na ginagawa daw ng DSWD, yung mga trade, pagtuturo ng various skills, that's good. Okay? So number 2 na winner natin, natatanggap din ng 100 pesos na e-load, electronic load, si Fredo Sain of Tondo, Maynila. 0915-538-8433. Ano po ang manual computation? Ang father ko po ay namatay last year. Up to now, di pa namin nakukuha ang burial claim niya dahil 4 na hulog lang siya. Manual computation daw do ang process. Well, you got the answer from that, for that also from the Executive Vice President of the Social Security System, na si Ed Solilapsi, na sinabi dito na pagkakulang ka sa iyong hulog at ikay namatay, talagang hindi pwedeng iproseso yon ng kanilang computer. Kailangan ima-manual handling. So, konting pasyensya, i-follow up mo lang. Lahat nga pala ng mga text ninyo tungkol sa SSS ay forward na namin yan po kay Ginoong Solilapsi so you can expect him to send you answers directly. Alright. So, ngayong gabi po, ang sasabihin ko sa inyo, ang ating pag-uusapan ay may kinalaman sa ating foreign relations. Ano po itong issue ito na bumabaga dito sa ating bansa? Wala na po kung hindi yung Scarborough Shoal na pinaglalabanan ngayon na tayo'y tinatakot ng China. At ang panahon po natin ngayong gabi ay wala nang iba kung hindi isang talaga, he's described as a fighter and all his life he has stood on principle. At dati rin siyang pangalawang pangulo ng ating bansa at dati rin siyang Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Wala na pong iba kung hindi si Tito Ginggona. Welcome, ano pa gusto mong tawag gusto yun? Senator, Vice President, Secretary,
Tito
and
Ginggona.
all that. Or just Katito.
Katito.
Alright, Katito, salamat sa pagdalo mo sa programang ito. Alam po ninyo, itong problema natin ng Scarborough, hindi pwedeng dalos-dalos ang paghawak, no? It's a very sensitive matter kasi laki-laki ng China eh. At sobrang lakas militarily. Ngayon para tayong isang bubuwit dyan na ngayon magdiniligaw tayo. Alright. Una-una, bago natin anuhin lahat, meron kaming gustong pakita sa inyong mapa. Nasaan ba itong Scarborough Shoal na ito? Yan po ay malapit sa Masinloc at marahil sa television natin ngayon, maipapakita ng ating crew dito, yan po. Ang Scarborough Shoal ay nandyan sa kanan po yan, bandang Pilipinas. At nakikita natin kung saan ang China malayong-malayo. Now, ano ba ang kine-claim ng China? Ito naman sa ating susunod na mapa. Para lang magkaroon kayo ng magandang ideya kung ano ang pinagtatalunan. Yan po. Nakita nyo yung pulang linyang gumaganito? Lahat yan, inaangkin ng China. Kaya, ang layo-layo nila. Yung Scarborough Shoal is halos 400 nautical miles from China. Dito, it's within our 200-mile exclusive economic zone. Alright, so yun po ngayon ang pinagtatalunan. Ikaw ba sang-ayon ka, Tito? Because I think it was Senator Arroyo, Joker, who said na dapat we should develop a solid front among the Southeast Asian nations regarding this claim of China to so much water.
Yes. We have to consolidate na sa katotohanan lamang. Sapagkat ito naman ay palagay ko under the law of the sea, ang UNCLOS, medyo lamang tayo sa argumento.
Anong gagawin natin kung ayaw pumayag ang China na dalhin ito before the United Nations? Sa international law of the sea or under UNCLOS to which they are a signatory.
Ang kailangan, ipakita natin na tayo ay sincere na kaibigan. At kung may mali man, nasa kanila, manggagaling yung mali.
Pero alam mo, hindi ba ang dito sa Asia, ang sinasabi nila, naku, napakahalaga ng muka. How can there be a face-saving venture or solution to this when nagkaroon na ng standoff doon sa may Scarborough Shoal? Let me ask you a question. Hindi tayo tutol sa ginawa at maraming tingin ko sang-ayon sa ginawa or inutos ni Presidente Noynoy. Would you have sent the most powerful ship of the Philippines in the confrontation with fishing vessels? You think that was ano bang tingin mo sinasabi doon?
I think what we should have done was to build up more confidence from China to us and us to China. Kapitbahay natin yan halos. Paano bang trato ng isang tao sa kanyang kapitbahay? Kailangan mayroong friendly, open, and self-serving and helping each other.
But do you think we can ever have a relationship of equality considering their size and our stature that is so small?
Yes, equality in the basics. Malaki ang China, population-wise, resources-wise.
Militarily, they are so powerful.
Yes. But we can stand as equals as human beings and as a nation. So, kahit na nasyon ng Pilipinas, hindi pa nasyon, in the early days na wala pa si Magellan, hindi pa pumapa rito, 1521. Before that time, nag-trade na ang Pilipinas at China. Maraming beses na pupunta rito, meron silang bibenta.
Hindi lang yung Tito. They were invading us through Limahong.
Oh,
The
yeah,
pirate, the
yes,
Chinese pirate.
Yes, but that was
At pinapatay ang maraming mga kababayan natin noon.
that was already during the Spanish regime.
Oo.
But what I'm saying is, before,
Even before.
even before the discovery of Magellan, supposedly, the Chinese were already having relations with us, and some of them stayed
In China.
in the Philippines.
Okay, but you also know that there was a time when a sultan with his whole entourage from Mindanao
Yes,
traveled to China.
traveled to China, and they were received very well.
They were received as royalty.
Yes, and unfortunately, the king of Sulu namatay
Sa China.
sa China, and the emperor of China at the time gave them honors and gave them, I think, a village.
Oo. Where kasi nung namatay ang hari, lahat ng kasama niya,
Oo.
naiwan na rin kung saan siya nilibing.
Naiwan na rin. And up to now, nandun pa sila. Kaya it would be good for the people from Sulu, of which you are a good scholar and a lover of Sulu, should continue, no? Because China has a good population of.
But let me ask you, Katito, no? Is it a little bit too late after we sent our biggest ancient battleship there? At tapos ngayon, they are demanding that we withdraw, and we are demanding that they withdraw.
Yes.
Para bagang nagkaroon na dito ng sagupaan, do you think that this still can be rescued by any kind of diplomatic effort?
Yes, yes, we should not lose hope. Kasi hindi pa naman yan actual violence and exchange of gunfire, no? It's still stalemate. Kaya kung pwede lang, we should open up dialogue and send people there who know, send people there who are sincere, and who can build up the trust of the Chinese to us.
Alam mo, quite a few years ago, I read a book on geopolitics dito in the region. And that they said the time will come when China will want to extend their suzerainty pretty much throughout Southeast Asia. Because in the ancient days, as early as the 14th century, the Chinese junks were already traveling from here all the way to the Horn of Africa. Okay? And one of their major trading points here was Malaysia. So but they never had colonial ambitions. All they wanted was for those nations to pay tribute in exchange for the right to trade with China.
Correct.
Ayun. But they never tried to establish or to claim, hindi, ito sa akin. Ngayon, anong basis mo? Kasi the Philippines has published its position paper po on this, no? Sabi naman ng China, hindi, matagal na namin dinrawing yan. Ano ba naman? Is the drawing the basis for sovereignty?
No, it is not. But the allegation of China is that they discovered the Scarborough Shoal, and they discovered. But way back, I think in
12th century.
yeah,
Well,
no, 12th century, before the Philippines was a nation, and before the international law was
the seas.
recognized.
Okay. But you know, the Chinese in 1421 were the most powerful navy in the world. And you know, they discovered Antarctica, North America, and South America. And they drew that in their maps. That why don't they claim South America and Central America and Antarctica? Kung ang babatayan natin dito ay yung na-drawing na dito o na-discovery nila. Tama ba yun? In other words, kumisan, mahirap kumisang isipin na baka dahil sa maliit lang tayo at kaya tayong ganunin, kanya tayo ginaganon.
Well,
Pero you remember the movie The Mouse That Rode?
yeah.
Paano kaya ang pwede nating, anong mga, outside of trying to exhaust the diplomatic efforts and to prevent any kind of violence from taking place in the area? Because we know the outcome of that violence. Ngayon, ang tanong ko naman sa iyo, Katito, tutulungan ba tayo dito ng Amerika? Ano ba ang tingin mo?
Well, in the first place, I think there are people in the United States who really want to help us, but I think the official policy is
Not to intervene.
not to intervene.
I think they already made that policy pronouncement during this Obama administration that they will not necessarily get involved. Now, ano ibig sabihin nun? What are we going through this balikatan exercise for? Which is very close to, it's in Palawan, no? Na malapit doon sa Scarborough Shoals. Why are we bothering to go through with this?
Well,
Do they define then that basta't maliit na isla doon pag-aawayan nyo tsaka tubig, hindi kami makikialam?
that's precisely why China is perhaps looking at us with caution. Kasi they look at us as the extension of the United States here in in Asia, as an underling of the United States.
Speculation. Do you think China and America are talking about this issue?
Yes,
Pinag-uusapan siguro nila. No?
pinag-uusapan. I believe so. And I don't blame them for doing it, because they have a responsibility as leaders of the world.
Although China has made a blunt statement to America saying, keep out of Southeast Asia. That's our area of influence.
Oh, well, that's the old style.
That was not too long ago, Katito. Nung nangyari yun, nung sinabi ng China yan. That is, I think, last year lang yan or very late in 2010, telling the Americans, stop posturing in Southeast Asia.
Well, there is going to be a change in the presidency of China. And
Towards the end of the year.
yeah, there may have change of policies. But under this present president, I think there is still time to
moderate their position?
Yes, to moderate.
Ang minsan pinaghirapan ng aking pag-iisip is how to convert this situation so that it does not become a face-losing situation for China or the Philippines. Ano kaya ang magandang win-win formula dito?
Well, we have to accept the truth, and if it is ours, they should recognize it.
Okay. The problem that we have here is I don't think China's interested in physically claiming or populating the Scarborough Shoal. All they want is access
To the
resources in the sea. Di ba?
Yeah.
Yun ang kanilang pinagtatalunan dito. Kanya lang, how can we have some kind of, if it is ours, then the benefit should be ours.
That's right.
But if it's going to be shared with somebody else, without losing our sovereignty over the little pieces of rock that is called the Scarborough Shoal.
Well, the economic people can think of ways, if it's joint venture or loan, direct loan.
Some people have commented that during the time of President Gloria, she signed a memorandum of agreement for joint development of that, including the Spratlys, no? Because we also have a claim on the Spratly Islands. And that people are saying that that was a very bad agreement, and the government should not have entered into, because it is giving up some of the rights that we ought to have regarding Scarborough Shoal and the Spratlys. Ano bang take mo doon, Katito?
Yes, if I don't know the details, I don't know whether it's true or not. But they did an agreement like that should be transparent. Should be.
Dapat alam ng tao, no?
Dapat alam ng tao.
Okay, meron na tayong mga tumatawag dito from Bobong of Cavite, 0917-824-6168. I think our Chinoy brothers, I guess you're referring to the Filipino-Chinese community here, should be the ones to talk to China about our territorial rights. After all, they got rich in our land. Well, I am sure that the Filipino-Chinese community here in the Philippines, I wish they'd take a stand on it and be able to say that, at least alam natin kung saan ba sila. kanino ka ba? Pilipino ka ba o sa China?
Yeah.
Saan ka maninindigan dito? Kung yung sinasabi dito nang tumawag sa atin, kung ikaw nandito sa Pilipinas at yumamang ka dito, dapat dito ka manindigan. At maybe they can do a lot of very quiet diplomacy regarding this issue so that China will back away.
Yes.
Because after all, they have access to all kinds of resources anyway throughout the world. Kung meron mang resources dito, hindi ba naman dapat dito pabayaan nyo sa mga maliliit na bansa ng Southeast Asia na siyang makinabang? Para naman magkaroon ng kaunting prosperity dito sa region, kung makatuklas tayo dito ng mahalagang mga minerals o kaya langis o ano pa mang iba. Di ba?
The Filipino-Chinese can do a lot to help build confidence of China, of confidence on the Filipino friendship.
I think we can say that we do want to have good relations with China. But if you want a relationship that is merely based on strength, alam naman nating malakas sila. You know, that yun yung tinatawag nga dito, lo cortés no quita lo valiente. In other words, they can afford to be magnanimous. They do not have to go and pin us down. They do not have to go and embarrass us. They do not have to go and show how powerful they are. Are they so insecure? Why? They are so rich. They are so powerful. We are nothing but a little nation. But ito, meron na naman tayong text dito, 0917-605-5739. Good evening po. Bakit pinakamarami Chinese dito sa atin kumpara sa Hapon, Amerikano, etc.? Sila maganegosyante, tayo pag pumunta sa kanilang bansa, alila. Well, that's to the rest of the world too, no? Pero mabuti na lang, hindi na tayo masyadong nagpapalabas ng mga domestics at mga professionals na lumalabas. Kanya hindi tumitigil ang pagtaas ng mga remittances ng OFW kasi mga skilled workers na lumalabas. Alright, before we go ahead, we have to pause for a few reminders. Wag po kayong mawawala. We will be right back.